Everything on this channel so far, Evil Portal, DAuth, the Wi-Fi scanning, all of it ran on Marauder. Somebody else wrote that firmware, we just flashed it and used it. Today that changes. I'm writing the firmware myself, from scratch in Arduino code, so the flipper can send a command over those same 4 wires from last week, and the ESP32 does something no pre-built tool does, whatever I tell it to. We're starting about as simple as it gets. 1 command, 1 LED, 1 blink. But the concept underneath it is the same one that runs every custom hardware project you'll ever build with this pairing. Own hardware, full transparency. Let's write some firmware. Welcome back to the Tinkerer's Lab. Last week we wired a standalone ESP32 into the flipper so it could run Marauder without the $70 dev board. If you missed that one, it's worth a watch first. Today builds directly on that wiring. Quick note before we start. This episode is a step up in difficulty. We're leaving pre-built firmware behind and writing our own, so there's a bit more code on screen than usual. Stick with it, the actual logic is short. Marauder is genuinely good firmware. It does Wi-Fi scanning, DAuth, Evil Portal, packet capture, and it does all of it well, but it does exactly those things and nothing else. It's someone else's project, built for someone else's use case that happened to overlap with ours. The ESP32 underneath Marauder is a full microcontroller, the same kind of chip that runs smart plugs, weather stations, robotics projects, home automation sensors. Marauder only ever uses a fraction of what it's capable of. Here's the part that matters. The serial link itself isn't changing. Same 3 wires from last week, TX, RX and ground. Same connection between the flipper and the ESP32. Later on we'll add 1 more wire for the LED itself, but that core 3-wire link is what's carrying the command either way. What's actually changing today is the code running on the ESP32 side and what we send it from the flipper side. Once you can write your own firmware and have the flipper trigger it, the ESP32 stops being the Wi-Fi chip and starts being a general purpose remote control for literally anything you wire up to it. A relay, a motor, a sensor, a second screen. Today, that's an LED, but the pattern is identical no matter what's on the other end. Think about what that actually opens up. Swap the LED for a relay and the flipper can switch mains powered devices on and off. Swap it for a servo and the flipper can physically move something. Swap it for a sensor and the ESP32 can read a value and send it back to the flipper instead of the other way around. None of that is Marauder's job and none of it ever will be, but all of it is the exact same 3 ingredients we're using today. A command sent over serial, code on the ESP32 waiting to hear it, and a GPIO pin doing something physical in response. The idea is deliberately simple, because simple is what makes it reliable. The flipper sends a short piece of text over the same serial connection we wired last week. The ESP32 is constantly listening on that serial line. When it sees a message it recognizes, it runs whatever code is tied to that message. In our case, turn a GPIO pin on, which lights the LED, wait a moment, then turn it back off. On the flipper side, we don't need a custom app for this yet. That's next week. For now, we're using the flipper's own built-in GPIO and UART terminal tool, which lets you type text and send it straight down the serial line by hand. It's basically a keyboard for talking directly to whatever's wired to those pins. That matters because it means today's build doesn't need any new flipper side code at all. We're only writing firmware for the ESP32. The flipper's existing terminal tool is doing the sending. We're just giving the ESP32 something worth listening for. One thing worth understanding before we write any code: both sides of a serial connection need to agree on speed, called the baud rate. It's just how many bits get sent per second down the wire. If the flipper's terminal is set to one speed and the ESP32's firmware is listening at a different one, you won't get an error. You'll just get silence or garbled text that matches nothing. It's the single most common reason a serial project doesn't work on the first try, and it's worth checking before you assume the wiring or the code is wrong. We're writing this in the Arduino IDE, which is the standard way to program an ESP32. It's free, it's well documented, and if you've touched an Arduino before, an ESP32 sketch will feel immediately familiar. Every Arduino sketch has the same two functions: setup, which runs once when the board powers on, and loop, which runs over and over forever for as long as the board has power. In setup, we do two things. First, we start the serial connection at a set speed so the ESP32 and the flipper agree on how fast to talk. Second, we tell the chip which pin the LED is wired to and set that pin to output mode, meaning we're going to be sending voltage out of it, not reading voltage in. Then in loop, the logic is just as short. Check if there's anything waiting on the serial line. If there is, read it in as text. If that text matches the command we're listening for, turn the LED pin on, hold it for a beat, then turn it back off. If it doesn't match, ignore it and keep listening. That's the entire sketch. No libraries beyond what ships with the ESP32 board package, no external dependencies, maybe 20 lines of actual code once you strip out the comments. The flipper doesn't need to know or care what's on the other end of that GPIO pin. As far as it's concerned, it's just sending text down a wire. It's worth pausing on how little is actually happening here, because it's easy to assume firmware is more complicated than this. There's no networking stack, no interrupt handlers, no timing tricks. The chip spends its entire life doing one thing: checking if a message arrived, and if it did, checking whether it's the one message we care about. Everything else gets silently ignored. If you wanted a second command, say turning a different pin on, or blinking twice instead of once, you'd add one more comparison inside that same loop. The structure scales by repetition, not by complexity. Before flashing, disconnect the flipper from your ESP32 if you have already connected the wires, because flashing requires the TX and RX pins to be free. Plug it in over USB, select the right board and port, and hit upload. Takes about 10 seconds on this chip. Once the sketch is flashed, the physical wiring is identical to last week. Same TX, same RX, same shared ground, powered the same way, off its own USB cable rather than the flipper. The only thing that's changed is what's running on the chip. Add one more connection, a fourth wire running from the GPIO pin we defined in the sketch, pin 2, straight to the LED's positive leg. Then a 220 ohm resistor between the LED's negative leg and ground closes the loop. If you've ever wired an LED to any Arduino, this part's identical. Connect the wires and then power the ESP32 on by powering it up via USB. Now for the actual payoff. Navigate to the inbuilt UART terminal of the flipper, same exact terminal tool from last week, and type the exact command our sketch is listening for and send it. And there it is. The flipper sent a short line of text down the wire, the ESP32 read it, matched it against the one command it knows, and switched a physical LED on and off. That's the entire loop, working end to end. It doesn't look like much. It's one LED blinking once. But mechanically, this is identical to how you'd trigger a relay, wake up a sensor, start a motor, or fire off any other GPIO connected hardware. The command, the listening loop, and the match and act logic don't change. Only what's wired to the pin does. Right now, triggering this requires opening the flipper's built-in terminal and typing the command by hand every time. That's fine for testing, but it's not exactly a polished workflow. Next week, we fix that, building a real custom Flipper Zero app from scratch in C using the official Fury SDK and UFBT toolchain, so sending this command becomes a single button press from the Flipper's own app menu instead of a terminal you have to navigate into. It's the hardest thing we've done on this channel so far, and it's the last piece before the whole build feels like a finished tool rather than a bench experiment. So that's custom ESP32 firmware, from a blank sketch to a flipper-triggered LED. No Marauder, no pre-built tool, just serial communication, a listening loop, and a GPIO pin doing what you told it to. It's a small demo on purpose. Once you understand this loop, you understand the foundation underneath every custom hardware project this pairing can do. The LED is just the easiest thing to prove it with. If you found this useful, subscribe for next week's custom Flipper app build, and I'll see you then.